Welcome back everyone to the second half of the card. Potts, I suppose we better start by mentioning the huge Magic Millions tournament this weekend.
Yeah, cracker, 50 grand. Get involved. It's, I'm not really that keen to do form for the Gold Coast, but I'm sure plenty of people are. It's usually a good meeting and it'll be a great tournament. So, for 110 to get a share of a $50,000 prize pool, it sounds like a good deal to me.
And you don't even have to necessarily put up the 110. Like, there'll be tournaments today, Thursday, tomorrow, Friday to win your way through. So it can cost you as little as $6 to get into the main event. So it'll be a huge tournament there. And as Dal said the other day, it could be very easily go past the 50k. So if you want a real good way to spend Magic Millions Day, that'd be the way to go. And I think the thing that you probably need to arm yourself with, Potts, if you are going to do that, is Johnny McLeod's set.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because they publish, I've bet Johnny McLeod stuff from the beginning, and it's like your stuff, but he's a long way in front, and just a very good operator. Dale published the results the other day for the last 12 months. There was a bit of a glitch there for a little while. They've sorted all that out. The boys are doing a really good job. So on one of the biggest days in Queensland racing, it's not a meeting that I'm particularly fond of, where a large breeder puts up $10 million for restricted class horses, Potts. But in saying that, as the racing industry treats me, I'm an addict, so I'll be there betting on Saturday anyway.
It's usually a good meeting. It's a good form comes out of it, so it's unusual for a restricted sort of situation, but often there's a couple of races there that have a presence in the autumn. So
yeah, I'm nearly going to declare one, Potts. I'm not sure how they're going to beat Buffering. He's in a restricted cutest way race at set wide. So they've tried to get the big fish there. They've got him, and from what Robbie Heathcote said this morning, he's going from that race to the Alcor Sprint at Dubai and then back to Hong Kong for the Chairman's Handicap. So I don't think there's been too many preparations that have been similar to that one, but it should be a good day's racing. So grab Johnny McLeod's set and make sure you jump into the tournament. It should be huge, and you can take on, I assume most of the big pros will be in there, because the lures always attracts them, because they've done the form for it, so they'll be in there, and it's a chance for you to pit yourself against all those guys, and you're a chance to beat them, because all you need is an ounce of luck.
It's not like normal punting for a profit. It's a different beast completely, and I think like playing cash poker is different to tournament poker.
Completely.
I think people that specialise in these tournaments are going to do very well, and for someone like me, I've got to completely change my thinking if I want to compete in those tournaments.
And I think the other thing with the tournaments is, Potts, is you need to check the structure. Like, I think this structure might be slightly different to the normal weekly one, where there is a chance for the grinder to turn your 100 into 500 or 600 by just by making the bubble and finishing in the money, and you can just sit there and just grind away, and you might be able to nick a bit across the day. And that might be enough to multiply your money by 5, and you will have had a real good day doing it. And especially if you're sort of risk averse, it's still a way to go.
They're a new thing, these tournaments. And I think there's a good earn in it for someone that just wants to do that. Go in there every week, play a pretty straight bat, just find the right races where you can back enough horses and be confident in finding the winner. Just turn your money over at a very small profit, and you'll finish in the money every week, because they're paying down to somewhere between 15th and 30th. And like you say, you'll turn your 100 into 500 or 1,000 more weeks than you won't.
Well, I think what you find at the minute spots is there's probably more glory hunters that are going for the absolute broke to try and win the whole thing, and often they'll finish up with nothing and use all their rebuys. Whereas if you're the sort of the praying mantis and you're there just chipping away, nicking your little bits, and you haven't busted your bank. Like, we've seen guys finishing the money because they've left $5 in there,
yeah,
$5 better bucks left in the thing, and that means that they've finished in the money because they haven't busted out. So it's a real good one. It's a completely different way of thinking. I'm sure there's plenty of information on the internet if you wanted to read up and you can learn a little bit more about the strategy of it, because I know they're big in the States. So it's definitely worth a crack, and especially with a $50,000 prize pull up there, and it'll probably grow past that. So that's on this Saturday. Also on this Saturday is the Jack Dunn Handicap over 1200, race 5 at Caulfield. Golden Spin 460, Chase the Horizon 440, Magna Rossa 320, Miss Gidget 12, He's a Moral 9, Runson 650.
Another interesting race, because we've got the colts all coming out of the Caulfield race here from a couple of weeks back.
Yep.
and the filly that won on New Year's Day at Flemington. And the market's gone for the filly, marked her favourite, which I'm not so sure about.
Okay.
I'm not convinced that she shouldn't be favourite or...
Were we on her last start, Potts?
No, we had her in the numbers, but I thought she was a bit short and we let her go. So she used the momentum of her maiden win, which was at Sale, I think, to win at Flemington. But the quandary for me here is she ran a really good time at Flemington. The time in that race on paper looks particularly quick.
Yep.
Ran faster time than Durandale later in the day.
Okay.
But it was a pretty weak race and the margins weren't big.
Yeah.
So I'm saying that time's more likely a factor of the weather conditions at the time the race was run, as opposed to Durandale who raced hours later. So whether the wind changed or whatever the factors were, I think that's more. So, but I'm not. That's my interpretation of it. Yeah. I don't know for sure. So I think the betting in this race will be really interesting.
Yeah.
It'll be really interesting to see where the big pros end late here. But my feeling is that the Caulfield race here from 2 weeks ago will end up being favoured.
Yeah.
So the difficult, I spent a lot of time on this race because Golden Spin's won 3 races in a row now, all at big odds. Like in this race here, he beat Chaser Horizon and Runson last start, who both started shorter than him. So I've looked through all those 3 wins of Golden Spins, trying to see if there's any element of why is the market undervalued this horse so much? And I think it's just been circumstantial. I actually think he's a nice horse.
Yep.
And he's a real line finder. And I just think the market's got him completely wrong 3 times in a row. So I doubt they're going to make the same mistake 4 times. And I think he really should be favoured here. There's just too much to like about the way he's won. Like he really, the last 50 metres of all of his races has been the part that's been most impressive. When the other horses are starting to get tested and tired, he seems to be able to find another gear. So he's the sort of horse that you like backing. So I'm more than happy to back him. Chase the Horizon started shorter than him twice in a row and been narrowly beaten twice in a row. So it's hard to get them apart. And if you back Golden Spin, you've almost probably got to back Chase the Horizon as well. The map horse here, without a doubt, is Runson. So Runson produced a huge 1,000-metre win on debut.
Yeah.
Is that Mornington?
Mornington, yeah.
Mornington. And then come to Caulfield, started shorter than Chase the Horizon and Golden Spin at 1,200 from an inside gate, where he was always going to be tortured, you know. So he moves to a, given that this is only a 9-horse field, into a middle gate here, where he should be able to get up outside a weak leader in Miss Gidget, and this time be racing those horses from in front of them rather than from sort of behind them like he was.
Yes.
I mean, they were out wider than him. They were sort of in the same group at last up, but they got around him, you know. This time he should be in front of them, which gives him a chance, but they really got away from him late.
Yeah.
And it's sort of hard I tend to think they're going to be too strong for him again, but I think he's better positioned to win this race than he was last start. So I'm going to back those 3 colts with a strong leaning towards Golden Spin. Cross my fingers that I've got the filly right and that race is not as strong as it looks, as the time would suggest it is at Flemington. And the rest of it, I don't think there's any other chances in the race.
Really? Not even my name?
Which one, Jeff?
Jeff, yeah. Best name horse ever. Just call it Jeff.
Yeah, no, I haven't got much to say about Jeff.
No, it's off a synthetic maiden win first up. Race 6 is the Timothy Rock handicap over 1,400. Jackie's Joy 550, Devilishly 8, Giggly 550, Majestic Lass 380, Drawn to You 13, Miss Clooney 10, Egypt 750, Single Note 7, Big Odds at bottom 2.
A lot of quaddy players will be unhappy because that previous race is a really good race. You know,
and we got first starters in the quaddy league.
And then we got quaddy league with first starters and like some pretty miserable midweek type 3-year-old fillies form here. I mean, Jackie's Joy won a Saturday race, but it was a midweek race masquerading as a Saturday race. So
I was at Yarra Valley the other day. Potts devilishly was pretty good there, but again, you've got these ones coming out of maidens, and how many win coming out of maidens?
Well, fillies off their maiden win, Juppy, win a high percentage of their next start.
Okay.
So fillies off their maiden win, it's like going back in time when things were structured a bit different and the jump from the maiden to the next one was bigger.
Yeah.
You didn't really want to back horses off their maiden, but particularly fillies coming off their maiden win into a fillies only race. It's a really good play these days. I see it time and time again. Like look at Magna Rossa. She won a really weak maiden at Sale and then towed them up at Flemington.
There's a pearl of wisdom for you, punters.
Oh, it's one of Mark's. I'm pitching it from Mark. So it's Mark's pearl, not mine, but he's right. I mean, that's when I started noticing it, and particularly with fillies, it's a very regular thing. So I can't. That win at Yarra Valley is a hard one to line up. I mean, there was something to like about the way her and that other filly sort of really gapped the rest, but they didn't really run quick enough time for me to. I'd have to sort of manufacture it to get her in there, but I wouldn't be surprised to see her run a really good race because this race is open. There's not that big a jump for her to be part of the finish here. But in the end, you've got to make a decision. And I've looked at the price she is. I've marked her longer, and I'm going to have to let her go around against me. The filly I like here is Jackie's Joy. She come from New Zealand, big win at. Sort of Kyneton or Kilmore. And come to town, she did a lot wrong in the parade prior to the race. I'm not an expert in these things, but talking to Dal, I sort of think there's a chance she won't do them again, that she'll parade a lot better this time. And if she does and improves a couple of lengths, she'll win this race. And I think the 550, did you say 550? I think that's still around, isn't it?
Yep.
I think that's a good price. So, on face value, if she does everything right this time, I think she's got an edge on this field and she should be favourite, I think. She could go the other way though, because it wasn't a strong race.
Well, that's where the chat room will come in, because Warren will have his update from the yard for us.
Yeah, we'll have the update from the yard and plus the betting. So,
yep.
Majestic Lass, she won a really weak maiden at Moonee Valley. I was really torn about it because I didn't run a good time, but she sort of looked impressive to the eye, but I couldn't find any substance in it. Then she went around at Flemington in the Magna Rossa race, and she wasn't much good really. So she's got unless Magna Rossa comes out and wins the previous race really impressively, it probably means Majestic Lass is the right favourite here. But I'm sort of expecting Magna Rossa to get beaten the previous race.
Yeah.
And then think, well, Majestic Lass is just a chance in this race and she shouldn't be favourite. So that's the way I'm sort of approaching the race. That's about it. Happy?
Race 7 is the Ewan Stratford Handicap over 1400. Kiribati is 9, Bell Rhythm 750, Wales 10, the New Boy 750, King Buddy 16, Tuffo 650, Fast Approaching 3, Baby Don't Cry 7.
A strange race.
It is an odd race, isn't it?
It's a very strange race. So you got horses in the market here, like Baby Don't Cry. She has been disgraceful at her last 2 runs. Like every chance
Chuka.
Like, just completely run over. Like she was dreadful at Sandown. Somehow she's in the market. Tough Host won first up for about 2.5 years or something, or a year and a half or something there.
Yeah, 18 months. Yeah.
It was a Sunday at
Mornington.
Like.
Yeah, it was the day after Boxing Day, so it wasn't exactly the strongest meeting.
And there was a better meeting at Warrnambool that day.
Yeah.
And did beat Mick Sussler, who's sort of midweek horse. He's in the market. He's sort of. At this stage, at this distance, you can't say he's anything more than a midweek horse. Baby Don't Cry is not even a midweek horse on the last 2 runs. She's awful. Fast Approaching. Like, was she first or second up at Sandown? First up? Behind
second
Shakespeare.
Third up.
She was third up, was she? Wow.
Yeah.
I mean, like, Shakespearean lass just murdered her, like just completely ran away from her, like just put a hole in her. So I mean, how you could take 2-1 about fast approaching here in a Saturday race
with that yard.
Yeah, a yard that hasn't won a lot of races in town in a long time. So it just seems to me to be very strange. So then the other end of the scale is, so I'm dancing around the horse I'm going to tip here, Juppy. I'll come to him last.
Yeah.
Then you've got horses like Wales, who's like, this horse has just run a series of really good races over longer journeys, right? So he's been freshened up. But he's got to be dangerous here, Wales, of only a 49-day break.
Well, you'd have to think being beaten 0.8 of length in the Ballarat Cup would be nearly good enough to win this, wouldn't you, Potts? Well, or run really well in it.
He ran a really good race behind Start Wondering in Sydney. That was a good run. He ran well at Moonee Valley.
Yep.
There was 2 runs at Moonee Valley, one over a mile and one over 2,000. They were both good runs.
And he only got beaten 3.2 in the Gold Bullion at Pakenham. That's been a really strong race.
Yeah, I mean, he's got a lot of runs there that get him in the finish here. So the map's against him. He's out the back.
Yeah.
But he's very dangerous. Corabeeti's a horse that he's capable of pulling out a big run, but he's first up off a long break, and he's only had, that I can find, the one jump out on the Poly track. So he doesn't look tuned up here to me. So he's a bit dangerous, but because he's capable of killing these, but he's probably going to need at least 3 runs to get him tuned up.
Well, as the comment says, he was beaten 4.6 behind Dissident in the Group 1 here one day.
Yeah.
But he's a long way from that now, isn't he, Potts? Like, he's coming back from Sydney, soft jump out. You're right, he'd probably take 2 or 3 to
He
get.
probably needs a run, I'd say. At least 2 runs. Bell Rhythm's sort of up and running and racing okay, but geez, he's not much of a horse, really. You know, his last start he got beaten about 3 lengths or something by Profit Share.
Yeah.
Which sort of gets him around the mark here, but that's the best case you can make for him. You know, a bit of a fringe chance, really. So I'm running out of options, Juppy. I've gone through most of them. Where do you go? So you're left with a new boy. I mean, he picks himself here to me. He should be favourite, surely. He's won a race this prep.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's not like he's been out of the winner's circle for 3 years or something. He has won. He's had a recent win. His most recent run, he led on a track where you were far better off being off pace, and he was only run over late by Volcanic Ash and Duke of Brunswick, who are genuine city Saturday open class horses this time of year.
Just below stakes level.
Yeah.
Class
Well, these off-season things, they can run in the open. So they're probably still making their way through benchmark, whatever it's right, but they could be running in open 14 and 1600 metre races.
Yeah. And
there are genuine chances in them, like if not favourites in them. And they only got him late, and he hit the line full of running. So he'll just come over here, race outside fast approaching. I think he'll put paid to her without any trouble at all. And it's only a horse like Wales or maybe Corabeeti or maybe Bell Rhythm or Tuffets that could have any hope of coming after him late. So I just think he's a tremendous bet at $7.50. To me, I think he should be 7 to 2. So he's double the price he should be, and even though he's a bit of an old bludger, this is one for the Gouch. The Gouch will love this.
Yeah, that young D Gouch, he doesn't mind riding front runners, does he? Like, he's only been doing it since I was in short pants. I mean,
well, he'll come over outside fast approaching here, and if Nick Hall doesn't want the front, Gouch will go, no worries.
And he will take it.
And if they let him get away 2 or 3 in front on the turn, this race is over.
Yeah.
So the only way they're going to beat the new boy here is to be close enough to him.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because to me, he's racing. His last 4 runs have all been competitive in Saturday standard races. They're all good. There's nothing wrong with any of them, and he'll keep running to the line here. And he's the best 750 chance that'll go around there on Saturday.
And the other thing is, like, you look at the horses that have beat him, like as you say, Volcanic Ash and Duke of Brunswick at the last start, and then the start before that was Tashby when Tashby was flying.
Yep. That was a great. So the Tashby run. So he only finished beyond Tashby and Sadaka.
Yeah.
That day the fence was completely poisoned. He was the best fence run all day, like by a long way. It was a really good effort. So.
And there has one other thing that
he ran in Sydney prior to that. So
he got beaten by Happy Clapper.
I mean, seriously, Happy Clapper?
Yeah. One other thing on profit share pots that I just noticed, he's obviously going to Caulfield because Croyd Cup Day's on Sunday at Warrnambool. So
right. Well, maybe he's a dual acceptor. He might be.
He may well be.
Yeah. I didn't notice that when I did the form.
Caulfield Race 8 is the Billy Swan handicap over 1200. Nicosine 750, Tadai Tondo 850, Mandala 850, Kievan 460, the horse we just spoke about, Duke of Brunswick 270, and Her Story 650.
Well, there we go, Juppy. So this is the benchmark 90, Duke of Brunswick's 270.
Yeah.
So, you know, you could almost say that, oh mate, the new boy has nearly as much merit as him last start, and he's in a benchmark 78, somehow he's $7.50 with control of the map. So, anyway, moving on to this race. Sandhill Flash will come across and lead, be clear of Kaivan and Nicosine. Her Story probably 1 by 1 sort of thing, outside Mighty Like, and Duke of Brunswick, you know, right on their hammer. And here he is, coming off a really good first up win and then a great run second up where he was only nabbed late by the stablemate, who is a talented horse. And he over-raced a bit there at 1400. The drop back to 1200 is fine, and he just looks an absolute moral to me. He's a genuine even money chance, and I think the 280 in the early markets is a bit of a gift. So I'm having trouble finding a danger, to be honest. So I would think Her Story and him have got a bit of history together. But she's first up, he's third up. Like, yeah. And last time they met under anything like those circumstances, he had a couple of lengths on it. So everything would have to go right for her, and he'd have to not turn up for her to win. The horse at massive odds that I am just going to have something on the Save Insanity, who really caught my eye at a recent jump out, is Mighty Like, who's been freshened up. He's a funny horse. He's got two levels. He either is genuine Saturday or he's a midweek battler.
Yeah.
And he's often his genuine Saturday runs have come when he's fresh, and he did something nice in a recent jump out when he killed Her Story.
And he's probably getting a little bit of class coming from that when he won the decent benchmark 90 on Caulfield Cup Day there, and then he's running the Donald Cup, which was a strong race, and the Gilmore Cup, which were both strong races. So
yeah, but his best form would have won those. That's why he's funny. Sort of like he had that good win, and then he disappears, and then he's fresh again. And he might. I mean, Mick Kent wasn't all that keen on him, but at $31 I could have something like Mick Price, I mean.
Caulfield Race 9, the last is the other heat of the Summer Championship over a mile, and Potts, if Duke of Brunswick is a moral, is Volcanic Ash, because he is a 290 shot. We've got Star Rolling 420, British General 13, Bass Straight 4, Fast and Free 850, Sadaqua 550 and 290 Volcanic Ash.
Well, this one is an open handicap, and as you said, Volcanic Ash is the dominant favourite. We're going hard for that Duke of Brunswick Volcanic Ash form line. So it's either going to be a feast or a famine late in the day, I'd say, Juppy.
We're either the quaddie's going to be very thin or it's going to pay an absolute fortune.
I can see a lot of people are going to go for the other form line, which is the sign-off one where Star Rolling ran really well. So it's going to be an interesting battle in the thing. And then obviously Bash Straight here is a complete left field horse to me. I mean, I haven't seen this horse for years. He's been over in Perth.
Yeah.
I mean, he's hard in the market here. I mean, I just can't find any substance to make him anything like the price he is. So the interesting thing is, Juppy, I listened to Mick Price on the radio today, and he's very reluctant with Volcanic Ash on any kind of good three. He thinks it'll feel its feet and probably not stretch out, which is a very interesting comment to make.
Yeah.
2 days before a race, when you got the dominant favourite in the race, he was almost keener on Fast and Free. So Fast and Free comes through the same form line. He's got 2.5 lengths to make up on Volcanic Ash. You know, he's fourth up off a really long break. So I can see him improving a length to a length and a half. My problem is I cannot see Volcanic Ash going backwards. I can see Volcanic Ash going forward. So unless Mick Price is right and this horse refuses to stretch out on a good three, which I can find no evidence for at all. I've looked through all of his runs. He's raced on a lot of borderline tracks, but to me, he's a horse that needs 2 runs to bring him
to his top.
And once he hits third up, he just gets better. And he lasts a good 3 runs, and they're all excellent. So all of his 3rd, 4th and 5th up runs are outstanding. This horse has got a good record. he looks a pretty good thing to me. I've marked him far shorter than the market, and given Mick Price's comments, I'm going to wait to bet till late because I think the market will listen to Mick, and this horse could get out to a very good price, and Fast and Free could start far shorter than he is right now.
Like, he does have a good overall record, Potts, but he is 6 starts for 4 wins on good tracks, and I don't think that's any cause for an alarm from Mick Price.
No, well, but those good tracks I've looked at, they're all sort of borderline 3s and 4s. You know, he hasn't done a lot of racing, but I just can't see any. I'm agreeing with you, Juppy. I can't see any evidence that this horse won't stretch out on this type of track. So I'm taking Mick Price's comments on board. I'm listening to them. I want to see what the track's playing like on the day.
Yeah.
All things being equal, I think Volcanic Ash is a genuine 5-4 chance here, and he'll be, you know, he just looks the winner on paper. But then, so let's watch the betting and see what happens with him. The other chance in the race, obvious chance anyway, is Star Rolling. You know, he's a sort of honest horse that has troubles, but he hasn't won a race since 2014.
Yeah.
He's sort of going to be box seat on the inside late in the day here. He's not an attractive option for me in this race, so I'm afraid I'm going to have to put all my eggs in the Volcanic Ash Duke of Brunswick form line again, and hope we back the last 3 winners on that form line.
I'm looking forward to just taking the blonde quaddie then, Potts, and taking it 50 times.
Well, we've got the fillies in the first race with the first starter, so I'll take the field in the first leg.
Yeah.
Then the 3, the New Boy, Duke of Brunswick, Volcanic Ash.
Yeah.
And hope that form line holds up, because if it does, we'll be having a big day.
Well, it should be a big day anyway. There's plenty happening, so make sure you grab Potts' set and you grab Johnny Walters and come in to join us in the chat room. You'll also get the Manny Yards from Manny comments from Warren Huntley down here in Melbourne and Dallas up in Sydney, and I'm sure the Glenster's followed up. He's had a bit of a freshen up, but he would be absolute have cabin fever with no racing for 3 or 4 days up there.
At least he's getting a meeting today.
So yeah, he's getting the hit out up there today at Warwick Farm, so he'll be ready. And of course, grab Mark's set.
And I've got to say, Jumpy, I can't wait to hear when the punter show returns, the Sydney punter show, the punter show, when it returns, how the faces were at Warwick Farm today when the new betting supervisor walked into the ring.
Well, apparently he's a fucking wombat.
So can I just say, look, we've had a few new subscribers over the new year come on board, so thank you to those guys. I hope you're on board just prior to Christmas. We had a really big day running into Christmas.
Yep.
We had a huge day. We had a really big day Boxing Day. The subsequent meetings we've been break even, they've been chop outs, so
Yep.
Can't wait for this meeting on Saturday. I'm looking forward to it, so hopefully we can have another big one like we did either side of Christmas.
And that's the other thing with Potts and stuff. In days where things don't go 100% right, more often than not you finish up like that where you break square, rather than you're doing 10 or 15 units.
No, we don't have many.
We don't have too many of those.
No.
And judging by the look of this card, I don't think we'll be having that on Saturday, hopefully.
I'll be disappointed if we do. I'm going into this meeting as confident about a race meeting as I have been in a long while, Juppy.
Well, I'm looking forward to some sort of plague of locusts or something on Saturday, Potts, because we find new and novel ways to get boat. But hopefully we have a little bit more luck on Saturday and we can find a few winners. So good luck, everyone, and we'll be back next week to preview the card then.
Good. By the way, in case I forget, for those that haven't seen it, the debut of the new Punter Show radio station's happening this Saturday morning. It's going to be, for the first couple of weeks, I understand it's going to be in a podcast form. So there's going to be, and then after that, if everything goes well, it'll be live on digital radio. So Saturday morning, it'll go up on, I assume, the Punter Show website and the radio station website.
Yeah.
Is it called Eon? Or?
I believe so,
Yeah, on the radio station. Anyway, it'll be a half an hour preview of both Sydney and Melbourne, and then an hour of
banter.
Talkback.
Oh, right.
Taking calls from punters. So I'm not sure how it's going to work this week, but that's what I'm told is the format.
Maybe the new betting supervisor, maybe the new format will start there in Sydney, and he might get a few hints.
Yeah, get him on board as a special guest. So anyway, I'm sure it'll evolve over time, but all things being equal, it's supposed to start this Saturday.
All right, punter. So keep your eyes out for that, and stay tuned. And good luck to Potts on the weekend, and hopefully we'll find a few winners, and we'll see you next week.